All right, folks, we are in the catch pen. Oh, I'm in the muds where I am. It has rained every single day. I don't know how many inches we have had since last Thursday, but it's been a lot. It's rained quite a bit. I know some of y'all are enjoying some rain. Some are getting more than they need. Others are not getting as much as they want. That's the way rain is, isn't it? Man, it is crazy. I hear rumbling off in the distance, so it probably is coming again this evening. Just makes it a challenge to get some work done, doesn't it? I've been clipping some pasture here earlier this afternoon. I love clipping pasture. I don't know about you, but I like it because I can put my earphone in my ear and I can listen to my music and just get lost in clipping. All you gotta do is follow one line. There ain't no tricks, no secrets, nothing. Just follow one line, turn around, follow it back again. It's mindless, but it lets me settle down sometimes. Sometimes I can get so wrapped up in this world that I can't settle down. I get uptight. Clipping grass brings me down. Anyway, for the past couple of days, I've been with these young people at school, and we've been going through Exodus and Numbers. Okay, those two kind of go together. You get the beginning of the journey and the end of the journey in those two books. You know, Exodus was all about leaving Egypt, leaving captivity, leaving slavery. God is going to reintroduce himself to his people. Come on now, it's been 430 years and they had pretty much forgotten who God of Jacob, or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they had forgotten who that God was. They had started to worship other Egyptian gods, and in doing so, they became slaves. That was not God's intent. But 430 years, they had slipped down a slippery slope where God now intervenes with Moses and delivers the people. It's a great story. He leads them to the Red Sea, puts them with their backs against the Red Sea. There's no place to turn, and God delivers them. And that is a miraculous story. Then God delivers them, and they are thirsty for water. He brings forth water from a rock. Moses goes and strikes the rock. He gives them manna every morning except one. That's another story for another time. But he provides for them every day. He doesn't leave them out on their own. But then you know what happens? They start complaining. They start complaining and mully-grubbing. They start saying, Moses, what have you done? You brought us out in the desert to kill us. They said, were there not enough graves in Egypt that we could die? You bring us out here to kill us? All through that journey, they complained to Moses. And Moses was a great man. He did good. He interceded for the people every time. They bring the whole group of the Israelites, all the Hebrews. Now, some say it might have been 2 million, 3 million, up to 5 million. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was a lot of people Moses was in charge of. That's why God sent him to the back of the desert, so he could learn how to be a shepherd, because he's going to have to shepherd a lot of people. Moses gets them to Jordan, the Jordan River. The next step over the Jordan is Canaan. That's the land that God told Moses, go and take the land. Go and take. God specifically told Moses, go and take the land. But because of all the people, they started to wonder what's on the other side of the Jordan. Where are we going? What are we going to come up against? Moses, we're a little bit scared about this. I mean, maybe Moses, here's a good idea. Maybe we should send some guys over to scout out the land, to spy it out. They did that, and God allowed that. Even God said, take one man from each tribe, send him over there for 40 days. In those 40 days, they were instructed to find out what kind of cities they had. Were they fortified? Were they weak? Did the people have armies, or were they militia? Was the land good for farming, or was it barren? How were the crops? Were they abundant or very little? In those 40 days, these spies went through the land, all that land that God had already promised them. Are you listening? God had already said, go take it. But they sent spies. Those spies came back 40 days later. Man, did they have a good report. They were carrying grapes on a staff between two men. That's the size of the grape clusters, it said. No telling what the figs looked like, the pomegranates, the olives, all the other things that were grown in the land. They said, surely this is a land of milk and honey. When it says it's a land of milk and honey, that means it is very, very fertile. It's going to produce a lot, okay? So they said it's a great place. It is, it's great. I mean, we could not ask for a better place. Except they got giants. The ancestors of Anak. And if you go back and look at that, the people of Nephilim and all that, they were giants. They said, we probably could take this place. We probably could handle everything, but we saw the giants. There's no way we can take those giants. All the people heard that report. Whoo, man, these giants, man, what are we going to do? We can't fight giants. We're little people. We're two men. You know the story. I'm already telling some people the story all over again, but I want some people that have never heard the story to hear this. Two men, Joshua and Caleb, 2 out of 12. That left 10 other men. 10 men gave a bad report. Said, yes, it's a beautiful place, but we can't handle the giants. We can't fight against the giants. Joshua and Caleb said, what are you talking about? Did not God just prove himself mighty in parting the Red Sea? Did not God prove himself mighty in bringing water from a rock? Hasn't God proven himself faithful in giving us food every morning in the way of manna? What is y'all's problem? Let's go take the land. 2 men out of 12, 2 said, let's go take them. It said, excuse me, it said that the majority of the Israelites, all the people, millions of people, listened to the 10 and said, let's don't do it. We can't go in. We'll lose. We'll get killed. Our children will be killed. That's not what we want. The giants. The giants in the land spoiled all that. Well, I'm here to tell you, God gave them what they wanted. God says, all right, here's the deal. Everybody 20 years and younger will live. If you're 20 years and older, you're going to die wandering in the desert for 40 years. You're going to wander in circles for 40 years. There's going to be millions of graves in the desert, in the wilderness, because you did not believe me. You did not trust me. The only 2 out of everybody of that old group, Joshua and Caleb, they entered the promised land. Oh, that's another story in and of itself. But I'm here to tell you, folks, you cannot, I've been teaching these teenagers, you cannot go with the group. If the whole group says, let's go this way, and you feel that tugging on your heart not to, that may be God saying, hold up. The masses are not always right. Just because everybody else is doing it does not mean you need to do it. As a Christian, you and I need to plant our feet in what we believe, have some convictions, and say, I'm not going that direction. I want to believe God, and I'm going to go the way of Joshua and Caleb. We are coming to a day and time, folks, I'm telling you right now, where you may have to make that decision. And it may cost you. But let me tell you something. I don't care what the giants are that are in your life. Giants are in my life too right now. I mean, in my life, I want to make some changes. I want to make I want to go a different direction. But every time I think about it, you know what happens? The giants come up. The giants come up. Well, Brother Dusty, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if these giants show up? What are you going to do now? Either God is who he says he is, or he's not. Amen? You and I don't know what friend, I don't know what you're up against. I don't know what your giant is right now that you're facing that's keeping you from going on into the promised land. But let me tell you something. We serve a God that can handle the giants. Amen? We serve a God that can handle anything. It says there is nothing too difficult for him. Amen? All right. Man, I got the preaching there. I apologize. I'm encouraging you, my friend. If there's a giant facing you right now, you declare the victory in Jesus Christ, all right? He has already gone before you and won the battle. Just walk into the promised land. You be like Joshua and Caleb and conquer, all right? Just to let you know, when Caleb was allowed to go into the promised land and Joshua asked him, hey, Caleb, what part of the promised land do you want? Caleb says, I want the hill country where the giants are. I want to take them on. Man, we need people like Caleb, don't we? We need to be like Caleb. Take them on. Anyway, wow, this is a great Thursday. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Please, again, pass them on. Some people do, some people don't. I really appreciate your encouragement. But all in all, man, we're all on the same road. We're all on that road. And I'm here to encourage you. Take care.